Hey, Dom.
Morning. I'm just checking in on. I do something on a Wednesday morning at UK time, so I can't really join the meeting usually. So I'm just checking in for the first 20 minutes or something.
All right, good one. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Jack. So, how's things for you, Dom?
Yeah, pretty good. I haven't really got much to report since last time. There was that meeting we talked a lot about death, um, and people were talking about feeling scared of the idea of death. Some of it was, I think, because people were imagining like missing their loved ones, and I sort of identified with that a bit, but I didn't identify with the actual fear of death itself. It doesn't seem
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
there.
Mm.
Um, other than that, I've just been carrying on with the observing practice. I have got a bit of this sort of mental noise going on about like should I do Theta 2 or should I just but at the moment I'm just kind of
Yeah.
not
So,
not doing anything.
what would you say about those should I thoughts?
Well, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm sort of following some of the guidance that I've read from your um, little posts that you put on and some of the songs and things like that, and just sort of noticing the quality or the texture of the thought rather than kind of going believing it too much.
Good one. Good one.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you know, I mean, the mind is just it's just going on and on and on and on
Yeah, of course.
and
That's what it does. Yeah.
and some of the thoughts are more urgent seeming than others, or more naggy or
Okay. So
whatever.
that's a good one to appreciate. What makes them more urgent or more naggy? Is it repetition? Is it their intensity or their loudness, the volume? What makes it more urgent?
I think it's I think it's all of that. I think it's the the sort of closeness of them, the largeness of them that seems to be, and the sort of um, and I think probably they come with uh, my sensations almost always to do with the gut. It's like people talk about constriction in the throat, and they talk about eyes and face and head and all that. I get a tiny little bit of those kinds of things, but any kind of pull is in the gut for me. It's like it's
Mm,
just straight away. It's very so. I think there's also like there's some kind of pull in the body or something towards doing something when those
yeah.
thoughts are there.
So if you think of some organ language, we come up with to do with the gut, right? You said the word gut
Yeah.
rather than stomach, So we're not
Yes.
going to
Yeah.
say, oh, it's not something you can't stomach. We're going to say gut instinct. What are other terms
Yeah.
you can think of that go with the gut?
Gut feeling. Um, I mean, it's funny. I'm working on this short film, and it's got two titles, but one's quite like one's a swear word title. So we've got a second title, and it's No Guts, No Glory, and it's a sort of boxing term. It's about
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
having guts, and it's to do with, in a way, I guess that refers to feeling fear.
Yeah, or courage if yeah, the opposite.
Yeah, or overcoming fear. Yeah. So it's like you
Mm.
have to have guts means to sort of, in a way, it almost means to be strong enough to overcome what's going on in your guts, you know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And
Um,
so
so
relate that back to what you said about the sensation that comes
there's
with
pull.
those insistent thoughts.
Yeah, it's there's some kind of contraction in the gut, or some kind of something. I don't even know if you could call it contraction.
Yeah,
Um,
something's enough. Yeah, and that's
yeah.
what's that telling you about those thoughts?
Um,
Or what might be the relationship between that gut sensation and those really insistent thoughts?
well, I think that there's a sort of story that something's wrong and something needs to be done. Um, I don't, I used to think that thoughts triggered the feelings, but I guess I, you know, I'm more likely to think of it as the other way around now.
Yeah, sure. So play with that. So you get this gut instinct that says overcome
Mm.
fear, go for it, do it, be
Yeah,
courageous,
yes,
right?
yes,
And then you get the thoughts.
yeah. But I get this gut instinct that says sort of something's wrong, or I mean, I could say there's danger, but that sounds a bit melodramatic. It sort of doesn't feel as, it's more like something being off, or something needs fixing. There's a sort of,
Mm.
um, and then the stories that go in the head are all like what needs fixing. And it could be to do with work. That's very present at the moment for various reasons. And then it could be, you know, what needs fixing is I need to know whether or not to carry on and do the theta two instead of just sitting or whatever it is, you know.
So that kind of makes it sound like to me that the thoughts aren't really, they don't really seem to be associated so much with the need to do something. So do the thoughts when they come up, do the thoughts give you direction for that doing of something, or do they give you direction to keep away from that doing of something?
I think they're always about, not they're always about, I think they're usually about trying to fix something in the world. Like I need to, say, for example, with work, I need to start working with this editor and I'll start editing myself or something because otherwise it's not going to go right,
Mm,
or I need to know I started this feta work and I've done the first feta and I'm just sitting now and shouldn't I be carrying on and doing the second feta? So that's kind of like, just trying to sort that out or trying to have a plan.
mm. So it is it would it be accurate to say that if you put those two things together, that it's sounding like you should listen to your thoughts and you should have courage to go in that direction? Would that be right or would that be wrong?
I think definitely listen to them and go in that direction. I think in those particular cases, I don't think there's much courage needed. Doesn't feel like that. It might in other circumstances.
Mm. But you're still getting the stomach feeling. That's still enough for you to
It's
notice it.
yeah, it's always. I mean, I'll get it watching a football match. If my team is losing and I'm trying to want them to score a goal or something, then
Yeah,
that's where
yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
feeling it. It's like it's everything seems to start there, or being that seems to be involved in pretty much everything.
All right. What about anticipation? When I say that word, where would you feel that in the body? Just the first thing that comes to mind. You don't have to.
Yeah, I was just trying to check my body, but I couldn't find anywhere else apart from there, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. So that could be part of that stomach feeling, that anticipation.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
So, all right. What occurs to me, what what I'm feeling here is I don't want it to be what it appears to be. I don't want it to be that your gut's telling you to listen to your thoughts and push through and do what your thoughts say. I don't want that to be the case. Yet it seems maybe it is the case. So what comes up then is some kind of a background, an intuition about which thoughts are right and which thoughts are not right, which thoughts are going to lead you in the right direction and which thoughts are just bluster.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Um, I think I heard someone talking the other day on one of the meetings about this sort of idea of getting it wrong or making mistakes. That's also sort of in play. I often, I've often had that sort of like vacillation between
Yeah,
two directions and like worrying that I'm going to take the
yeah.
wrong
But if
one.
that's the case, the gut thing would come after the thoughts rather than the other way around, which is what you said mostly happens.
Yeah, well, I don't, that's what I'm trying to sort of tune into is I don't know which way around it happens, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah. Right. So what we've got so far is a, a mystery, a great,
Mm.
a really interesting mystery about what actually happens and so on. And because of this conversation, you'll look at it that whole thing differently. You'll be much more sensitive to what goes on with the idea of not coming to a resolution, just what is actually happening, in what order do things happen, what is really going on for you. That will happen. You know,
Yeah,
I would feel confident that that will happen as a result of this investigation that we've done. We haven't come to any conclusions, but what we've
yeah.
done is we've opened up a whole lot of possibilities, haven't we? And there'll be others as
Mm.
well that we haven't even touched on that might come along. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what also comes up for me is that, you know, where this is going to lead to, where everything leads to, is things just happening.
Mm.
There are all these conditions involved and so on. And with that, with a recognition that things do just happen, that they're the result of all the conditions involved, there comes a relaxation, a much looser, calmer, uh,
Mm.
a ride that goes along with all of those happenings. Just interesting, you know. Now, it's not to say that we don't influence things that happen. Of course, we do, but we don't have absolute control. That's it. So, you know, the idea that if you wait, answers turn up. So, especially if you've got a bit of confusion or chaos or um, toing and froing kind of thing happen, just wait and something will obviously take precedence. It'll jump out as being the way to go kind of thing. And it's not to say it's right, but what it is just what's on offer for you.
Mm.
Yeah. It's crazy what we're going to come to at the end of everything, at the end of all of the fetters, at the end of everything, we're going to come to whatever's going on is just what's going on. And I just have nothing to do with that really, except to watch it. It's all just
Mm.
happening, including what's happening in here, in this body, in this mind. It's all just happening. But we got to shovel a lot of shit out of the road to get to that point. Yeah. But you're
Okay.
doing it. You're doing it well. Yeah. Mm. It's a tricky one. I found myself doing a song recently, and I had 5 versions of it. And I got to listen to 5 versions of it, each at 4 minutes. There's 20 minutes of listening to these things, and then decide which one's the better. Well, by the time I get to the fifth one, I've forgotten what the first one's about. So in the end, I go, that one sounds all right. And so I just deleted the rest of them. And a couple of them I hadn't even listened to. It's like, what am I after? What I think is the best of them, somebody else might not. If I think that if that conveys the message that I'm trying to give, that's enough. So I just deleted the rest. So it was like I gave up the fight looking for the best and went for that's good. Yeah, interesting. It's not an analogy, but it's a way of saying, we can whip ourselves to chase something that when we get it isn't what we were after anyway. How do you know how people are going to take your movie when it's finished?
Yeah, that's right. The edit's
Yeah.
exactly that point is, being perfectionist about it is certainly not going to
Yeah,
get me anywhere.
but there is a something that's better than perfection, which is feeling good about it.
Mm,
If it says what you want it to say nicely, there you go.
yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully I'm getting close to that.
Good one. Yeah. Well, thanks, Dom.
Yeah, thank you.
Jack, Jack
I'm
the
a
Cohen
bit.
boy. How you
I'm
going?
gonna. I
Yeah.
see you got a haircut. Looks good.
I just
No.
had a
Oh.
shower and combed it down. Yeah, I still need that
Oh, I
haircut.
see.
Yeah,
Okay, I was about to say I like the little shorter.
I'll get that haircut
Um,
soon. Yeah.
you know what's weird is I'm feeling more restless and stirred up at this meeting than I was beforehand. For some reason, like I can feel myself running through all the things I'm going to say and processing through that right now. Whereas before this, I was kind of relaxed, kind of hanging out with my girlfriend, which was nice, but it's weird that this stirred up that. I think is interesting to me.
So, at what point
Um,
did you feel the stir up start? Did it start before you came to the meeting? After you came? When you were listening to Dom? What what stirred it?
I first started noticing it when I was listening to you. Yeah, I think it was when I was listening to you. Something about it, I just try to predict you over and over and over again, and I just can't. Like I have no idea ever what you're going to say to anything. Um,
You know, I don't either.
yeah, but like, there's a sense of I feel like I know most of the time what most people are thinking or feeling or going to say, and it's just not there with you at all. Um, and I keep trying, or I can't stop trying too well. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you see that as a good thing or a bad thing, or neither? I
Um,
think. Yeah.
I think it is an interesting thing. The
Yeah.
fact that the can't stop or that I'm trying to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, um,
Do you think it's revealing? Does it tell you something?
once again, the fact that I can't stop or that I'm trying and that I'm trying to predict you or
Yeah.
some
That,
other.
well, they're kind of both tied up together, but that you
Yeah.
can't predict, that you think you want to be able to predict.
Yeah. Okay. That's an interesting question. I do, although I don't really know what to make about it because my only explanations for it all sound crap. They're like, oh, he's awake or he's spontaneous. Um, but I don't really know why I can't predict. Yeah, it's just kind of tricky and also kind of intense to experience.
Yeah, I get that.
Um, yeah, it's a little unnerving too because like I've kind of felt like maybe I shouldn't speak up in these meetings sometimes because like I don't know the right thing to say or I feel like just listening to you is a better idea at that point or at some point because you're so in tune or spontaneous, some
Whatever. Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
this is what pops up for me here, and that is that you are you're I don't know how to put this. You've worked out the social rules. You've got them down to a T. You know exactly what's appropriate, when it's appropriate, how to be, and all that kind of stuff. And, and probably because I don't play by those rules, that's a bit unnerving for you. That's why you can't predict.
Yeah, I would say that's fair. At the same time, though, I think I routinely, once I do calm down, it's kind of peaceful in a very ambiguous, quiet way.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And that's a big one because what happens is, when what I imagine happens is that we take you out of the rules-based game and put you into Jack, into what's actually going on there for you. And that's pretty lovely, except that you don't still quite believe that. Like while you're in it, that's fine, but you'll race back to the rules-based game pretty quickly just because you know
yeah.
your way around that really well, but you don't know your way around Jack very well.
I don't know. Um,
I'm just
yeah,
prodding you for a reaction. I don't know that that's right.
yeah. I can say that the rules-based thinking stuff is fails every minute of every day, but it's
It
still
does.
trying.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. It's okay before you learn to question it. It's okay when you think that's all there is. But as soon as you recognize that there is something more, that there is this wonderful human, spontaneous way of being, all of a sudden the rules-based thing just doesn't cut it anymore. Yet you're not
Yeah.
confident in that second one yet. You still, that's all it is. You'll get
Yeah.
better and better at it. You'll get more confident. You'll get more relaxed. It'll come easier. And then eventually the rules-based thing will just be something that you know about that is appropriate sometimes, but not appropriate a lot of the time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was I was blown away by your discovery with the koans. That was just something else. But I don't know if you got the import of what you discovered, right? That that the well, not even the conclusion, but what you arrived at, that it just happens, took you to not think about it to get there. It was a recognition of experience.
Yeah. I uh without sounding conceited, I knew it to be true in some sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't see
Uh
any conceit in that. That's exactly
yeah,
right. Of course, with the recognition is that profundity that says yes, yes, yes.
yeah. It's just I've been, shall we say, grinding, or that was the very first night, like literally probably an hour after our meeting when you first told me the koan, and then I don't know, after that I've been kind of lost with it.
Because you want to think about it again. That's right.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like when you revised it a little bit in your follow-up email about what is happening that you're not doing, and that opened things up a little bit. And then tonight I think I maybe got the closest to that one when I looked at it again and I was kind of like, wait, I can't really define what I'm not doing. um like the stuff that's happening, like clearly not me, never turns into me at any meaningful spot. So that was kind of a, I kind of felt like that was also getting somewhere, but I don't know, man. I'm just not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love
I
it.
kind of
I love
wondered if something closer to like the Moo koan, uh, of just like dropping the question. I don't know what you think of that, but I like these koans. I just feel like I'm not at the right one yet, or maybe.
it. Yep. Okay. So just before we go there, so that's I've I've put a question in this mind to come up with a koan for you. So and I'll just forget about it and let it happen and see what
Thank you.
happens. Right. But did you get the ramifications that that it just happens also says there is no intellectual control involved?
It just happens. There's no. See it. Not, or I don't know, whatever. I don't feel like I can fully, like there was a recognition that that was the answer, but it doesn't feel like second nature recognition of what is true about reality or everything that I experience.
Yep. Okay. I got it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. While I think of it, I came across a little video today that I thought was really interesting, and I posted it on Substack. If do you get my Substack?
I do. I didn't click on that one. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I will, or maybe.
It's it seems relevant to this, because it's um, a neurobiological explanation for things as well. But anyway, yeah, it's only a couple of minutes long, so it's
Yeah.
see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, one of the things that that we want to happen is that you discover a place that we would simply describe as trust, trust in yourself, trust in whatever turns up for you as being appropriate. So when I say trust, I really mean lack of mistrust or lack of the need to look after things and shape things and manipulate things. Being spontaneous, I guess that describes, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
And you're super critical of yourself. You know, should I say this or should I not say this? Is it appropriate?
Well, I got these unpleasant bits and I got these inappropriate bits that got me stuck.
Yeah. Well, I'm really happy for you to throw them at me. I love them.
No, because last time I did, you called them inappropriate. So I don't like.
Well, okay. I don't have any memory of that. So yeah,
That's
try me
okay.
again. Yeah.
Um, I really don't like it. It's mm, I've told you before that I've always struggled, recently much more struggled with love and being around girls, essentially.
Hmm.
I've never done anything bad, but it's a struggle.
And the struggle is to feel good, or the struggle is to be appropriate, or what's the struggle?
Uh, Trust my intentions, maybe. Um, Not do anything inappropriate. Feel comfortable just existing in a space where there's like my girlfriend and other people, other girls. Yeah. Oops.
So would you say that there are impulses that you feel are wrong and you need to keep a lid on them?
Yeah. Yeah. Or I do everything in my power to avoid certain feelings, and it just maybe makes them come up more sometimes. I mean,
So if a
I know.
feeling comes up for you, do you feel compelled to act on it?
No, no.
So you could have a feeling, recognize it as inappropriate, and just let it be there, or maybe it'll go away when you recognize it's inappropriate. What would happen?
Well, it's so here's a a cleaner comparison for me. Is like it's like with my phone where I feel kind of trapped by it. I feel kind of helpless, make wrong decisions sometimes or allow certain states of mind. See, as soon as I try to bridge the two, it doesn't work so well, but
That there is an overwhelming
What
feeling
are
of,
you lot loitering around here for?
okay. I don't know. I don't.
um, I'm going to say there's an overwhelming feeling of discomfort comes along with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Being on edge, like vigilance. Yeah.
So this would obviously relate back to this control issue too. So these are things that you feel that you need to keep control of because
I'd say so.
the idea of not having control means that they could run away with you.
Or that I might run away with them and might secretly want to, or might not want to. Like a whole lot of not knowing, or maybe fear of what I do know going on there, or
Hmm.
and it's been a major block for months and months, even
Yep.
knowing that they're inappropriate. I'm sorry. You can tell me if I need. Like, please be straight up with me if you.
I hope you would believe I am.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah. See, what goes on for me here, and really that's all I can share with you. And one of those is curiosity. There's I want to know more about this. I want to know. I want the details. I mean, I want the ins and outs of this kind of thing. So one of the questions that came up was, have you ever lost control and run with some of those things and then suffered consequences as a result of it? Or is it
No.
never happened? It's always just a threat.
So, so there was two different things. There was one where there was a kind of similarly related fear that just ate at me and ate at me and ate at me, and I finally just said, okay, let's see what happens. And that I think I told you about it, where the like colors got brighter and I felt more alive. So that was one. uh and then there was another time where I acted on it and did something I regret. uh and for a couple, maybe an hour, I felt much more clean. It felt like finally I got that out. And then kind of just the confusion rolled back in and things went back straight to the way they were right before.
Right.
And I didn't necessarily face consequences, but I do regret it.
So what's the regret about? Is that it happened? About the other person? Was there another person involved?
Yeah,
Presumably there
another person
was.
involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was that at that time I was ruminating on doubt of if I actually loved my girlfriend or not. At that point, this was months ago.
Mm.
Because of this, because I was struggling so much with other women
Yep. Yep.
that
And then
I broke up with her for like a day or two, and then it went right back to the way it was, with no clear decision, just kind of happened.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So I think I regret doing it, and I because recently I apologized to her in an authentic way, in a way that felt authentic. So I don't know why I don't feel very. I feel weird right now.
Mm. Understandably. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I feel apologetic, or like I want to say sorry, even to you or to her or the universe.
Yeah. So what comes up here is you've got a pretty high standard for yourself.
No, it's not a high standard. It's
Well, it is.
don't
You,
cheat on your girlfriend and don't break up
sure.
with her just because you're having fantasies.
Yeah. Well, that's where you arrived at after that experience. So, in a sense, that experience delivered something really positive for you. Right?
Yeah.
And how many blokes do you think don't go through that, or girls
Uh,
for that matter? I mean, I don't know.
no, I know a lot of people go through it.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know how many people will sit on it for like years.
yeah. So, but that's what I mean about that high standard you've got for yourself. You expect perfection. You expect to be better than everybody else.
Okay, I'm not seeing that, but it maybe resonates. Uh,
I don't think it's true, but I had to say it. It just came out.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. Um,
Do you get that, at your age, you're driven by your fucking hormones, man. You can't control them, right? Sorry.
no, I didn't say anything. I just sighed.
All right. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
The feeling that comes up right now is like disgust.
Well, yeah, that's because of a story about what it means, but I don't know about that. So what about the feeling, or is there a feeling involved that says I now know something I didn't know before that happened? Did you come back to a feeling that, yeah, you do love your girlfriend?
I think so. Yeah, there's definitely some love there.
Mm.
The some attraction too.
Yep.
It's the other girls I still struggle with because I've never
Yeah.
expressed that to anybody.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's weird shit, this stuff, it really is, yeah. You're never going to get to a point, at least I imagine, you're never going to get to a point where you don't feel any attraction to any other girl. Right?
yeah.
Those girls that look attractive to you are going to always look attractive to you. Look, I'm I'm 80 next year, and I can't believe what seeing a couple of lumps of fat on a woman's chest does for me. You know,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird as I know they're just a couple of lumps of fat, and yet there's this reaction that happens. I also know not to act on it. I mean, it's just I don't have to stop myself. It just doesn't happen. But this hormone thing that we've got going, it's very basic biology. It's about reproduction and continuation of the species and that kind of stuff. So you're not exempt from that. Of course you're not.
No.
And you've got this added problem, a big problem, and that is that you're young and good looking. And so girls are going to be interested in you as well, which is going to make it harder. If they start flirting with you, that's going to get you excited in a way that you don't want to be excited because you want to save that for your girlfriend. Of
Yeah, I
course,
definitely am resistant to that because it does happen, and then
yeah,
I kind of push it away or try to make it stop.
yeah. So this is something that I've been experiencing a bit, in a well, for whatever
Well,
reason. That is recognizing that a woman is a person, right?
yeah,
And that second to that is the shape of her body
yeah,
or her personality or whatever it is that gets you excited. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's a bit hard one. It takes a lot of reminding, yeah, this is a person. This is a person first.
I'm sorry for any women listening to this or to.
Yeah. Well, it'd be good to have their input too.
Yeah.
So every woman, regardless of what they look like, wants to be related to as a person, just as every bloke does.
Yeah. Then
And
there,
yeah, go on.
I don't know. There's this last bit where there was a girl in the past that I never got any closure on, partly because I kind of rejected myself before my girlfriend. Uh, so I've never been able to express that, but I see her every day, that second person. So
Mm.
that's the hardest bit.
That
Or
reminds you of no closure.
no, it doesn't. It's just I feel so awkward around her because she knows, but we never talk about it, and we maybe never will, and it's probably not appropriate to talk about it.
Mm. So what's the awkwardness about for you?
Uh, Being in a room with both of them at the same time. They're roommates.
Mm. That makes it tricky, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of the biggest issue that if it would go away.
Mm.
Got any koans yet?
Yeah, it's mulling around here. So it's let's imagine it's like some physical discomfort that you've got. I don't know. Would it would it be more like there's a physical pain present, or
Yeah,
would it be more like there's some a birthmark or something that you don't want to be there that you think what?
it's like I'm being pricked with needles.
Yeah, and that's a good analogy. But you're the one that's doing the pricking, aren't you? Or do you
I
think
think it's yes,
he's
but
doing the pricking?
I'm blaming the situation or blaming something,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. So
Don't know.
if it was that you had a birthmark, you would there would be times when you wouldn't think about it and it wouldn't hurt. But if it was like a physical pain, like you'd hurt a muscle, well, even then there would be times when you wouldn't think about it and it wouldn't hurt. But when you did think about it, it would be painful. So is it in both those cases? It seems like in order for you to feel this discomfort, you have to think about it. If you don't think about it, it's not there. Is that right?
Um, it's kind of like an ever present. Yeah, it's more like the birthmark where whenever I'm around them, especially those two, it's kind of ever
Yeah,
present in the back of my mind that
Yeah, yeah,
discomfort.
yeah,
If I'm like completely alone, yeah, I can totally forget about it.
yep,
Right now, it's kind of a weird in between, like sort of throbbing, but
yeah. Because we're
not
talking
something I
about it.
can't.
Yeah,
Huh?
because we're
Yeah, I
talking
can
about it.
actually live
Yeah,
with it right now.
yeah.
Coexist. Yeah.
So if it was a birthmark, well, I would imagine that you would eventually get to a point where you just accept it. There's nothing to be done about it. It's just the way it is.
You mean, I'm getting lost by the birthmark versus other analogy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, just imagine that you've got a birthmark on the side of your neck that you can't see unless you look in a mirror. And when you look in a mirror, you can go, "Oh, that's horrible. I don't want it," etc., and feel bad about it. And when you don't look at it, don't think about it, it it's not there. You don't feel it. That's the analogy. So I'm saying with this situation, uh, when you're together with both of them, it's like you're looking in the mirror at the birthmark. You can't escape it. There it is. Uh, but even eventually, you would come to accept that the birthmark is there and it's done. Can't be undone. It's done. It happened at birth, right? In this case, this thing happened. It wasn't at birth, but it happened, and it can't be undone. It did. It happened. But you could accept the fact that it's done, and therefore not trick yourself with those
Well, remember,
pills.
I'm not actively thinking about the events. It's more of just the ongoing discomfort of being in a room with two
Yes.
people that
Yeah.
I feel very strongly for.
Yep. Exactly.
And I
And
may be less inclined to agree that it'll just go away.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I get that because it's so active for you at the moment. Yeah. But there's two people in the room that you feel very strongly about, one of which it's okay to act out, and the other one it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's so shitty, but like I've done the pretend to not care and be polite and walk on eggshells for years. Which is okay.
Mm.
I don't like that silence, but so that
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not. I wasn't saying anything with the silence. I was just thinking. Yeah.
okay.
Um.
I don't know. It's okay. I can live.
Yeah, yeah. See, the thing is, it's not appropriate to pretend it didn't happen. That
Yeah.
that walking on eggshells, etc. That's.
Don't know what I fucking want.
Have
I
you
really,
have you spoken to your girlfriend about this?
yeah.
Yeah. And what was
Yeah.
her reaction when you did? Presumably, you were pretty honest with her about it.
Yeah. She's kind of like get it figured out, but also like it kind of did open up a nice conversation of we're both attracted to lots of other people.
Yep, that's
And we
perfectly
both
normal.
kind of felt
Yeah.
maybe shame about it.
Oh, Jesus, I don't. Yeah, all right. I don't get that shame thing. You can't not feel attracted to other people. That's the way it is. But you
Yeah,
can not.
sorry.
You
Sorry.
can not act on it.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
we had felt shame about it. Um I feel shame about the non-knowing and feeling like I'm doing my girlfriend a disservice by
Yep.
not fully embracing loving her because of
Okay.
the other.
This takes us into a really interesting spot too, and that is that love and expressions of that love are going to fluctuate. They're going to vary. They're going to go up and down, So even the person we love doesn't always do what we want, isn't always the way we want them to be. And so we'll feel more in love and less in love depending on circumstances. So what will it put you in a place of temptation, if you like, with other people, is when you don't feel that you're being whatever fulfilled, might be a word, by your girlfriend, or and vice versa. If you don't fulfill her, then she might be more interested in somebody else. So what is that about? What is this fulfillment thing about? It's a stupid word, but you know what I mean? If something's missing in your relationship, that's when you'll be tempted to go somewhere else, and that's when she'll be tempted to go somewhere else. But how do we get around that? What we do is we're open and spontaneous and authentic with each other. So when those things turn up, there's a possibility of fixing them.
Yeah, but I don't
That's
want to
that's
fix them.
scary. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, because I really do love her, like her.
Yeah, I get that. And then there's another part that's a really interesting one, and that is that you want to love her and like her.
Yeah,
So there's what you do and what you want. And maybe they're not absolutely the same thing. Maybe they are, but maybe they're not.
but see, Vince, this is I went down this road when I broke up with her just to see how it would feel, essentially, and I regret it. Um,
Yep.
and I would feel like the shittiest person in the world to even consider that.
Yep. So why would you do that just to see what it felt like? Right?
At
Because
one
there's an
point, sorry.
I was going to say because there's an imagination that something is missing and something could be fulfilled somewhere else. But now I want to hear what you were going to say. At one point,
At one point, I was really convinced that I was maybe hiding from myself by being with her, and that my spiritual journey was taking me in a different direction.
I get that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was
I went through
fear of
that one once. Yeah.
staying scared. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, big time here, the realization is that whatever turns up is it. It is it's all involved.
Confused by that. Or what you mean by that? So what I got, what I got.
Well, the idea that somebody else might be inhibiting your spiritual journey
Mm.
is part of your
No, it was
spiritual
that I was
journey.
inhibiting it by,
Yeah,
well,
right. Yeah, by being so
in
grossly
certain conditions. Yeah.
physical. Yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Do, do you have, are we circling or are we?
Well, we do that. We'll circle around until we
I don't
come
want to
to
circle. I
come to
just want you to be
rest.
like, you need to cut this, knock this shit off, or, uh, or, uh,
I want it to be a discovery. It's got to be
no,
a
I don't.
discovery. It has to be a discovery. It can't not be.
I don't want to discover that part. Uh, Even though something is smiling, I don't.
Mm.
I don't know. Mm.
So
No.
what pops up for me now is that nothing means anything. Any meaning that we give something is made up. Now that doesn't mean that meaning is meaningless, but what it means is that it's not the all everything that we used to think it was.
Uh,
So if we take
what am I
away
assigning meaning to that you think I shouldn't?
well, everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
yourself, your relationship, what you feel, and see,
Yeah.
they are just what they are before the addition of meaning. But you kind of get lost in the meaning part.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying
Yeah.
is, come back to what it is before meaning, and you can be really relaxed in that. You can trust that that's okay. You can trust that that's not going to lead you astray. It's the meaning part where all the problems come along.
Yeah. Yeah, I resonate with that. I don't know why the smile went away when you said that, but
Yeah, it's pretty serious stuff, isn't
maybe.
it? There you go. It's back again. Uh, yeah. Well, look, I get also that a big part of this for you is the intensity of this and the full on got to work it out thing.
Yeah. 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 There's a, I don't know if it feels like that now, but definitely the sense that, like, for some reason I have to know one or the other,
Yeah.
or that there's a perfect wiggle
Yeah. Yeah.
through line.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a fantasy.
So I was going to ask you then, but I think you just answered it. Does some part of you know that that's just bullshit? That there is no wiggle through and there is no knowing of anything?
Yeah. Unconfident, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to say confident, yes. I don't know.
Mm.
Mm. Okay.
There's a just I just had this fantasy. There's a place that I would call confident. It's not egoic confidence. It's just a knowing that everything is okay. And that's different to any kind of confidence that you might show at the moment, right? That the show of confidence that you might have out there in society at the moment is pretty fake because it rests on you constantly saying I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right. So it's a fantasy thing, right? But underneath that, what I'm saying is underneath that is a really relaxed, confident Jack that can be relaxed in being authentic and knowing that it's not over the top, it's not too much. Right? It is more, and it will probably always be more than it is for most people, just because of the nature of your personality. You're
Yep.
expressive. in your personality. And so consequently,
Holy shit. Uh,
shut up.
that felt like the gloves coming off, I'll be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Before I go, any koans?
No, I need to think about that for a while. Let me think
Uh,
about it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll email you one.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. How are things for you, Leonard?
I would say very mixed. Yeah, I don't know. Somehow, um, the experience feels kind of diluted because there are still some habits that turn up, and they are so strong that I just can't. I mean, it's stupid to say I can't do anything, but in the past I would have, yeah, it would have, yeah, it stressed me because there was the thought it should not be like this. So now, yeah, there's just the acceptance, like I can do anything anyway about it at the moment. So just give in to it and don't make a problem out of it because that will make it worse. And then eventually this habitual uh, thing will just feel very boring because it's the repetition of something that was done like 1,000 times or something. Um, but yeah, I kind of have to remind myself to not resisting it or not trying to have an ideal of myself with which I am in conflict because that
Yeah.
will be like very exhausting.
Okay. So good. Let's examine that one because you said exactly what I was thinking about resisting it. Right
Yeah.
now, there is this investigation into resisting that can take
Mm.
place and what we want. So is if I don't resist, does that mean it will happen? Do I have to resist in order to stop it happening?
No, certainly not. I
No.
think it will only go by itself if there is no gain in it anymore, if it just
Yes.
doesn't feel like, I
Uh,
mean, there must be some gain in it, otherwise you wouldn't do it. So,
right. Now that gain, is that obvious what that gain is?
yeah, it is totally obvious, but I mean, this is like intellectually obvious, but
Mm,
obviously it's not, it didn't arrive in my subconscious or whatever. But
mm,
it's the same thing about, yeah, um, yeah, I boredom or whatever, just some kind of feeling empty or lonely, or I don't really know. I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I I have sometimes moments in which I can investigate into the physical appearance of it, but sometimes or many times it just feels too big to be curious about delving into it. And then I also accept that because obviously it's like not something that can be yet that can just go away within some months. It's just seems to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
like very deeply rooted. So I'm just accepting it to be a process, whatever.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what about the possibility that if we don't resist it and
Hmm.
we allow it, but we don't allow it in a way that we just submit totally, we just fall into it, but we
Hmm.
allow it with awareness. We allow it to slowly creep up on us while we
Hmm.
watch it. Right?
Hmm.
And then the possibility of discovering that the promise of fulfillment that it had is empty.
Yeah, but the thing is that I can observe it, but then anyway, there it, uh, yeah, it feels as if there was the decision to do it anyway, and that's the weird thing because
Right.
it's not like it's not like I can't observe it, but then the mind tricks, yeah, plays its tricks and says like, yeah, but you want to do it. Or yeah, actually, because that's what I meant about again, because then sometimes I question myself like, do I really want to get rid of this behavior? Or is it just the ideal that I have about myself that I should
Yeah.
not have it, you know?
So how would you find that out?
Mm, yeah, it's actually that when I, yeah, force myself to not do it, then it feels like unbearable,
Mm,
really.
mm, yeah. So can we separate a story about wanting to do it
Hmm.
from the actual feeling of wanting
Hmm.
to do it? Can you see that there's two separate things there?
Yeah.
So
I
the
mean,
story might start out
hmm.
as describing the feeling, but it takes on
Hmm.
a life of its own.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, because because it feels empty. It doesn't feel like, yeah, now I'm doing what I want.
Yes, yes.
So,
It's an unfulfilled promise when it gets
yeah.
to that point, eh? Yeah.
Hmm.
So maybe it points to something else.
Hmm.
Maybe that's just the front piece to what's actually going on.
Yeah, the thing is, for example, that it has a lot to do with living in a fantasy, because then at the same time, that's why I said it's a bit mixed at the moment. Um, like not every day, but like every 2 days, I went by train to some place I didn't know, and then I was hiking like for 5 hours and enjoying that a lot and listening to music and then it was not there at all. It's just like when I stay too much inside, and I mean
Mm.
in my home, in my world, in my fantasies, and
Yes. Yep.
not like in the outside, I don't know, like interacting with
Yeah.
what is around me. So
Right. So the curiosity here says, what is there about the outside world that is fulfilling that
mm,
becomes an emptiness when you don't get out there, when you're inside all the time? So there's something about that outside world, and it's a relationship thing, your
mm,
relationship to it,
mhm,
right? But it's got to do with a whole lot of stories that you've got
mm,
about that.
yeah,
Now here's the thing that you may not want to hear, but
uh,
everybody, all of us live in fantasy land all the time.
mm,
There's no such place that's not fantasy land.
mm,
That's the nature of being human. We live in fantasy land.
mm,
Yeah. So what this thing that says, oh, that's only fantasy,
Hmm.
and that's inadequate or that's not right.
Hmm.
And so we have fantasies about real things. We have fantasy. I mean, there's no question that out in nature there is this wonderful aspect to it. You know, the
Hmm.
air is different, the smell is different, the feeling is different, the sights are different. There and they and we have this story that says, "Oh, that's so much better than inside a room."
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that it's about the outside world, but it's about being in movement.
Right?
Like it is something physical, I
Yeah.
think, because then, for example, what happens like after 1 or 2 hours, like all these things that seem to be like so confusing fall into place, and it's like just maybe, I don't know, that's a story as well, but maybe it's like a left and right side brain thing or something. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
this walking gives me a lot of this. It's just a feeling, but it feels like
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
clarity
So it's
and
not just movement. It's a particular
mm,
kind of movement. I mean,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
observed you, and you haven't stopped moving since we started talking. Of course,
Yeah,
there's movement, but it's a kind of
uh,
movement that you get when you're
yeah, yeah.
walking and you're
Mm,
striding and you're breathing. Everything's different about it.
mm,
Yeah. And even if you walk around the room, you don't get that feeling.
yeah, maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that it's also related to the music
Hmm.
because it's usually like classical symphonies that I'm listening to, and it's like this flowing melody combined with the walking and
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I get
yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah. No, I've come to appreciate how music moves you beautifully.
Mm.
Yeah. It certainly does. Yeah.
But of course, yeah, that would be another solution to the problem. I mean, I can't
Well, let's
walk and
let's
listen to
not
music all the
call it
time.
a problem.
Uh,
Let's just look at the details of it and see if we can see what might be. So if you give yourself the promise that you'll go out into nature and walk and listen to music once a week, would
hmm.
that be enough to make you feel okay when you're not doing it? Or would you have to do it more frequently than once a week? Would you have to do it every second day or every day? Or
No,
maybe if you did it
actually.
every day, it would lose its value.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It just happened without any plan, and I'm not planning to do it every second day or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. It would certainly change if we were to plan and make it happen, wouldn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah. So do you, as a result of this investigation, get a better handle on what's going on for you? What is it you need to resist,
Hmm.
or that you feel you need to resist?
No, I think there was one point when there was really the possibility for me to feel into the bodily sensations when I felt, I don't know, I'm just labeling it like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
boredom or loneliness or something. But then um, it feels really like, no, I don't want to. There
Mm.
is like, yeah, I wouldn't, yeah, there is like no curiosity to go there.
Okay, so would you go as far as to go in the other direction and say there is some gain in this, that you
So
don't want
there's,
to? There's value in not
yeah,
going there.
yeah, certainly. Because then instead of going there, I do other things that
Mm.
which are a solution to that problem in order to not feel bored, for example.
So tell me again now, what's the problem?
Actually, yeah, actually, I don't know because it is a problem when I make a problem out of it, but it's no problem if I don't. So,
Uh,
but yeah, sometimes those habits feel a bit like a compulsion or something because then
yeah,
it
yeah,
already begins like after that, straight after waking up, like, and it's really like thoughts, and it's like, mm, yeah, there is somehow the decision to give in to the thoughts. I mean, not really decision, but it feels
yeah. I
like
get
this.
what you mean. Yeah, yeah. And I'm imagining that there is in the background another story there that says that's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think without noticing it for quite a while, there has been this idea like, I mean, maybe some years ago it was like, as a spiritual person, you should not blah blah blah, and then um, yeah, and then maybe this awake thing also, and now it's like, well, I mean, okay,
Yeah.
then there is compulsive behavior, but it's happening. There is like some awareness of it, and sometimes there's the feeling that this is like boring. I mean, it's interesting because there's the label boredom, and then there is an action that is supposed to uh, make the boredom go away, but that action itself is boring. So
Mm, mm.
yeah.
So if we were to take a fantasy about whatever turns up, it's okay.
Mm,
Whatever turns up is what it is, even if even if it feels like boredom, even if it feels
mm,
unpleasant. But we have an intellectual uh, cover that we can put over it that says it's okay. Even
mm,
unpleasant stuff is okay. That's
mm,
intellectual, right? But then if we take off that cover, does it become not okay, or can it still be okay at a feeling level? Right? It can feel unpleasant to whatever
mm.
degree. It's probably not a huge degree, but it can feel unpleasant, but it can also feel okay. It is just what it is. But when I say it is just what it is, I'm not meaning that to be a story that it is just what
Mm.
it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a recognition that it can't be anything different to what it is.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and I think well, that's also a thought, but it feels somehow like I know. Of course, I don't know, but it feels like it's not always going to be like this anyway, like.
Well, that's a statement of the obvious from one perspective, because it can't
Mm.
always be like this. But that's not
Yeah.
what you mean, is it? What you mean is that it's not always going to be this bad.
Yeah, I mean, if I felt like if there was the story, I'm trapped forever in this compulsive behavior or something, then it would make me feel anxious, maybe, or something.
Mm.
But um, yeah, there is a certain trust in awareness to being like something that can dissolve things in a natural way.
Mm.
Like, for example, yeah, when I quit smoking in the beginning, I tried to do this by willpower and that didn't work. So there was just like over the years more awareness about this thing. And then even, and there was still like, okay, I know that it's very bad for my lungs, but that was on an intellectual level, but I would still go on smoking. And that's maybe similar to those habits that I am having now that I feel, yeah.
So why do you call it a habit?
Hmm?
Why do you call it a habit?
Because it's something that is repeated. It's like always the same pattern, let's say. It's not like a spontaneous
Yeah.
action.
So can you see that it is triggered?
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes yes, and sometimes not.
So when it is triggered, when you can see that it is triggered,
Hmm.
do you recognize what the triggers are?
Mm, yeah, it's like this. Yeah, it's like this typical thing, but there must be more or something, or it's not enough, like
Okay,
this.
okay. So it's a story, but
Yeah.
that's only at that level. So
Mm.
is there an associated feeling of emptiness or something as well as the story?
Yeah, I think it's like the story is really, I want to feel connected, but there is no such feeling. Or it's searching for a feeling that is not being
Yeah,
produced
yeah.
somehow. And in this way, it feels a bit like the same drive as I have to drink alcohol now. So it's like
Mm. Yeah, yeah. It's
a
to
shift
feel
of,
something.
yeah, there is like this tension of consuming something, and since I don't smoke and drink alcohol anymore, it shifts like to
Yeah,
compulsive behavior
yeah.
of another kind. So,
Mm.
but yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to tell more stories, but I guess it's also like, I mean, when yeah, I mean, I used substances to control or create feelings over 20 years. And now I'm sober for 5 years. And of course, my brain is still operating maybe in a way
Yeah,
that, yeah. So that story kind of is useful for me just to know that, okay, that's no
yeah,
wonder, it's not
yeah, yeah.
something uncommon. So, um,
See, when the story turns up here that when boredom appears,
mm,
it's because we're cut off from what's around us, what surrounds us, what we're in.
mm,
Because we we can't be bored if we're appreciating the wonder of this,
mm,
whatever this is.
mm,
So there's almost like there's an active separation between
uh-huh,
this and me.
mm,
in order for us to feel unfulfilled, or in order for us to feel like we've got to go and do something to fill it. We've got to find something to fill it.
Mm. Yeah, actually, that made me remember kind of an image, and this is like, for example, mm, when a child gets upset, or I don't know, like, and then you give the the ice cream to the child, and that's actually what the child wanted all the time, but it
Yeah,
is like so much inside this
yeah, yeah,
world
yeah.
that
It throws it
it doesn't even want the ice cream, and it feels a bit like this, I think, like this
Mm.
boredom. It's sometimes um sometimes I can really like mm, connect again with the outside world, or how to call it, um, parenting myself. Like, yeah, but just look around yourself, what is available here, you know? And then, but there's sometimes like this, no, I don't want this. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah,
and I don't really know where it comes from, but mm,
yeah,
yeah, it's actually this kind of thing.
yeah. So, this is a tricky one. Although that appears now in the
Mm,
present, what if it's a remnant from when you were a child? What if it's
mm,
a remnant of something that happened then and it got hardwired into the nervous system? And that
mm,
each time this is coming up for you, it's your opportunity to dissolve it a little more. It won't
mm,
necessarily all happen in one go, but each time it appears, it's a yeah, an opportunity. I know that sounds really weird, you know.
mm,
It's just it does. I had a I had an email the other day that was abusive to me, and my reaction to it was to do some selfing. You know, I definitely got into identification with that, and now I can only feel so thankful for it, for the
mm,
opportunity. You know, that because that I hadn't been feeling that until it got triggered, and that
mm,
email triggered it. You know, and it was wonderful. It was really, really good. But I get that that's a weird one. You know, people don't normally see things like that. But
mm,
maybe this is a case for you. Maybe each time this boredom and this emptiness, whatever turns up, it's an opportunity for you to dissolve something that really comes back to identification. But it's probably a very young Lennart that
mm.
learned.
Yeah, at the same time, this story about boredom or loneliness feels like a habit as well. I mean, like telling
Yes,
this
yeah,
story, and then it's like, really? Is it really like that? Or, I mean, probably not. It's just like, yeah, but yeah, it's a good hint. I think I'm becoming a bit more pragmatic with this situation. Like, and I think it's really helpful to, yeah, to get into this mode where you think, wait a minute, what is here? What is there? Yeah, what is happening?
yeah,
Um, yeah, but I also mm, think, I mean, maybe it like this cutting yourself off from the outside world is a bit like a dissociation or something, right?
yeah,
It's like,
yeah, yeah,
and maybe
yeah.
that's kind of part of how my system operates. I don't know. So,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. And one thing that occurred to me now is make the most of it, because when it changes, you won't have this opportunity anymore, at
Hmm.
least for
Yeah.
a while. And it is very likely it will change. So as soon as you become totally relaxed and comfortable with yourself, somebody
Hmm.
else will come into your life, and that'll fill up everything.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't remember which philosopher was that, but one philosopher said, um, if there was no sin, then you could not know what is something good, you know? I mean,
Yeah,
you only, yeah, or if there are no mistakes, then you can't
yeah,
figure out what feels correct for yourself, you know? So,
yeah,
but that's again like good and bad and this stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
I would not even say, I mean, at the moment it's far from being suffering or anything like that. It's
yes,
just, I would say it's just a bit tricky sometimes, maybe.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's
Well,
good to talk to you about it because that gives me a bit more
bit of
clearness.
clarity. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
clarity.
Well, so you're at a level now where things get very subtle as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because recently, I mean, I just asked myself, like, why is this whole thing called non-duality actually? I mean, I'm not, I sometimes, yeah, I guess what everybody is doing here is like something very subtle. And it's so subtle that sometimes you may ask yourself, huh, but what it's all about
Is it
actually.
actually happening? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't call it non-duality yet. You see, even when I say that, it's a really weird term, you know. So oneness has a
Hmm.
better feel for me than non-duality, but even the idea of oneness
Hmm.
creates a duality. So, you
Hmm.
know, yeah. But it is a distinct experience that will occur.
Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's also interesting because uh, I mean, I had this kind of experiences, but then now it seems like, yeah, but that was just a story that you told to yourself. I don't know. Uh,
yeah.
because like, yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing. It it is a story, but it's more than a story. There's a story component, which is when you tell me about it, when you describe it, right?
Hmm.
That's the story component, but it does point to something that actually you actually experienced. Right?
Hmm.
But your memory of it now is all you've got, and your memory of it is constructed every time. So it's
Yeah,
not
but
like, yeah,
I think back then when it happened, there was some kind of magical interpretation about it.
oh, sure, yeah,
And kind of that seems to me so much a story that sometimes I can't even tell if it really happened or if that was just my imagination.
mm. Well, what I say is it, there's no difference, and it's irrelevant anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what an exercise you could do is to
Mhm.
sit and remember, just allow the memory of that to flood you, right,
Hmm.
in whatever way. And if it appears that it's just a story, then that's okay. That's the way your memory is working, right? But every now and again, look into the body and see what you're feeling, and you can make that feeling come alive again by doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I do remember that feeling. Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
So it's not just a story,
Hmm.
but there is a story involved.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Mm. Mm. Well, thank you, Leonard.
Thank you.
It's
Mhm.
good stuff. Yeah. Tammy.
Hey Vince.
Hi, Tammy. Oh, I always look forward to talking to you. I don't know why it comes up like this, but it does. Yeah.
Mm,
How are you? What's your experience been in the last 24 hours?
um, I think I am two opposite things. Exploding with boredom of myself. It's like I feel like I'm so done with all my patterns and stuff, and yet they're not done with me. So it's
Hmm.
frustrating. I'm sick of hearing myself talk and hearing my old patterns, and yet there they are. But yeah.
So do you recognize that as um, an interesting place, um, a place with potential? Is it something that you've experienced before a lot?
I think I do get to saturation. In other words, I review things in my mind and I'm trying to analyze and trying to understand and whatever. And at some point I get fed up, but I don't know if I've been exactly here many times.
Right. So
Um,
it's a version of then.
yeah, maybe more strong. Like in the past, when I was, let's say, more highly activated, it would be like, it would come in the form of like everything felt like an emergency. Like if you can imagine me even 10 times more intense than when you've met me. So it was,
That's pretty hard to imagine.
yes. So it felt really, really emergency stuff. Um and I would like try and tell people and try to get help because everyone seemed wiser and smarter because their lives are going better. So clearly they can set me straight. So I would try and reach out. But then while I was speaking, it would have both seem really important, but also completely irrelevant or nonsense. And so it's kind of, I don't know if it's similar to that, maybe not, but
Hmm. So this is what came to mind here, and let me, and I'm asking you, does it resonate with you at all that you've reached some point where you're prepared to hmm, divorce the old way? That's probably a little bit grossly put, but do you get what I mean?
um maybe open for new action, for new
Yeah,
something.
all
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah, okay, same thing. Better said than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean that the old way will just go away completely instantly, but you certainly won't have the same um, ownership of it that you've had. as a result of that. So what we're faced with is having a satisfactory new way turn up, something to replace that. Or is it possible that we can have a vacuum? Probably not, eh? I don't know. What's your thoughts about that one?
Well, I've been feeling again that kind of strong desperation or strong pull towards getting some help because, like I started telling you a couple times ago, learning for me can be very self-motivated. Like I taught myself cello and Spanish, but it can also
Mm-hmm.
be like health coaching where I need coaching for years every week, just to set my mind straight and keep me like from from going off into my crazy mind and from, taking some right steps. And in other words, knowing how to move forward in ways that it's like what I then got certified as a health coach as well. And you help people with is kind of knowing what is going to be return on your investment, like what's going to be bang for your buck, what's worthwhile doing, what's not, how to not overwhelm yourself, how to move forward in a straight path and see progress. And of course, it's not going to look, whatever. There's going to be ups and downs, and the coach knows how to
Yeah.
see if it's working or not, all that kind of stuff to direct you forward. And so I kind of been feeling like I need help with so many areas and I don't know how to find help. And so that's been like kind of distressing me because I don't know if I can, with my mind and my concrete ways of understanding the world, all my old understandings, the way I've been trained, my parents' issues and how I learned to see everything. Like I don't know if I can move forward without really strong mentorship week in and week out of like each aspect of my life. It just feels like, and it's just like the health coaching also takes up so much of my, in other words, what I do with my food in order to manage my health and my illness, like to manage all that is really time consuming. In other words, I tracked everything. I wrote down everything I ate, all my movement, my sleep for years. Um, I had to buy special foods, cook them. I only make my own food. Like it's quite
Mm.
a lot. And it's like, I don't know if I could do that with every aspect of my life. Like it seems like, let's say I wanted to change my thinking or to start meeting new people or work on my work or become awake. It just seems like each one of those would demand, you know,
Yes. Yeah.
regular
Yeah.
meetings and writing things down and real devotion. And I, yeah, I get lost of trying to pick
Yep.
pick one and stick to it, and I can't seem to do it on my own. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. What if all of those things, every one of those things that you mentioned, sits on top of being awake, or being awake encompasses all of them?
Are you saying become awake first and then those things will fall into place?
They all have a place in awakeness, is what I'm saying. Um, so what I'm wanting to do is take awakening as another one of those things on the list, away from the list, and make it the paper that the list is written on. I don't know if that was a very good analogy, but do
That
you
was
get
very
what I
beautiful,
mean?
but I'm not sure I understood it.
Yeah. So all of those things that you described were basically happenings, weren't they? That'd be one way to put it. They're all happenings. And I'm saying that if you're awake, they would still be happenings, but they would all have a slightly different appearance as a result of being awake.
You mean that the trajectory physically would be different or the internal experience of the same trajectory?
Well, certainly the second one, yes, the different experience of it all, and some they would change. Some would they would take on different proportions or different levels of importance, etc. When that happens, but that's irrelevant for the moment. But all I'm saying is that awakening is not a separate thing that you do, and then all of those other things will be different. It's doing all of those other things in a certain way is a result of awakening in a different way to the way you do them now. We're getting it's a bit obscure, isn't it? Yeah.
I guess, yeah, it's like, where does that leave me in terms of where do I put my attention and my efforts?
You put your attention and your effort on your attention and your effort, not on doing anything else with it, but on that itself. So your awareness goes on your awareness, and your effort goes on your awareness and your effort. That sounds a bit gobbledygook, I imagine. So being awake is an attitude. It's not an activity. It's not a thing in itself. It's an attitude. And that attitude comes from a way of looking at things, a perspective on things. And that perspective determines your interpretation. So then we can get to here and we can say, and so your interpretation of things at the moment is what leads to your suffering when that's present.
So it's just a change of attitude.
Yeah, except I'd take away just a. it's a big thing, and it's not something you can do. You can't determine, you can't decide your attitude, can you? Well, you can kind of get a little close to it sometimes. You can say, well, okay, I'll recognize the possibility of a different attitude, and I wonder what that's like, and that might become an impetus for that attitude. You might then discover it as a result of that. But it's not really a conscious decision to change your attitude about things. If you believe something, you can't unbelieve it by
But for
willpower,
example,
can you?
no, I mean, right. People are like, your beliefs cause your stuff. It's like, what are you supposed to do with that? You believe what you believe. And I could tell myself, my hair is
Yeah,
green, but if I don't believe that, but,
yeah, that's right. It's not. Yeah, you're not going to relate to green hair. That's right.
but,
So when you can say just a change of attitude, that's not so easily done, is it?
but also I think, Vince, that's part of the crux of the matter. It's like, I'm not sure if I want a change of attitude or a change of action and stuff in the world. In other words, if I had just told myself 10 years ago before I started health coaching, oh, just have a change of attitude about your health and your weight, I would have been really a lot sicker and more miserable because changing your health and your weight really changes things when you feel easier in the body.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to just stay sick and change my attitude about it. I don't want to stay single and alone and without work and without friends. Or maybe I do. I sometimes think that maybe I do like to have a more quiet life. But let's say I want to have a different life. I don't want to just cop out and say, just have a different attitude and accept this is your stuff. I want to actually create change. So I don't know. I'm at odds with all of this because I feel
Yes, yes, yeah.
that I
And
want to change things for the better.
it's clear to me that that attitude is why you're stuck in that. But it's not clear to you. And it's a bit gross of
But
me to say it like that as well, but you get what I mean, right?
I
That
I don't
that
know that I do, Vince, because everything I've done has been through tremendous effort, and
yeah, yeah.
without that, it's not changing.
Well, that's what I'm saying is you're stuck in that mode of operating, and then and you don't know about the other mode. You just think, you just believe. Your stories are that the other mode is giving up and that you're going to be worse as a result. But you don't know that. You've not experienced that. You only believe that to be the case at a story level. But you believe it's so big that you're not prepared to allow any other mode to take over. So no, it's got to be that you get there by effort and sheer determination, because that's the way you've had success in the past. And I'm saying that's the very reason why you're not awake.
I'm not awake because I want to change my life through effort, or because I'm trying to get awake through effort.
Both of those are the same thing. Yeah.
But yet you said my persistence is going to help me.
Yes, it will. There's no conflict there in my mind.
But
But
isn't
you're,
that sheer determination?
no, no, it's not. The sheer determination is a
Force?
it's a made up thing, yeah. Whereas persistence is a natural thing. Persistence is your personality. You're a dog with a bone, and you're gonna keep going until the bone's not there anymore. That's your personality. It's not something you might take it that you're doing that on purpose and that that's a good thing, but that's just ignoring the fact that it's part of your personality to be persistent. So there is a difference between persistence and determination. We can imagine they're the same thing, but the persistence that I'm talking about is uh, you know if my dog wants something, it lets me know by just looking at me. It'll sit and look at me, and it'll sit and look at me for ages and ages and ages. It'll sit and look at me for an hour until I get up and open the door for it or whatever I think it wants me to do. Right? But it's totally relaxed in doing that. There is no determination. It's not got its jaws tightly together. There is no determination. There is none of that intensity there. It's very relaxed, but very, very persistent.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm determined to be like a dog. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, it might seem to you like we haven't got anywhere, but we have. I don't believe we haven't. I've seen, you've relayed evidence of moments that are certainly a positive thing, and all of this talking about it that we've done, and all of this confrontation that's happened, and all of these explorations that we've done, and everything, they all have an effect, right? And it might just be one single thing that flips that belief for you into something else, and then all of a sudden you'll be away and running. It'll be a different thing altogether. Right? So it doesn't have to be, it's not a progressive thing. We do this, there's not a linear progress from not awake to awake. There are various things that we can discuss that we can investigate in terms of how it might be and so on, and they won't take hold until they do. And when they do, it's not because they take hold as much as because something allows them to be relevant. And that something is going to be a change in belief. And it's a simple, I see it really clearly in my mind that belief that you've got to have control and use your determination and your grit and your effort in order to achieve something, that's the very thing. I see that clearly as anything. Yet, even though I can tell you that, that's not going to change it for you. It's got to be a discovery that you make that says that's not how things happen. That's an overlay on how things happen. How things actually happen is because of circumstances, of conditions that turn up, and that's how they happen. Right? Now, one of those conditions might be effort you put into it, but that effort isn't the cause. It isn't the sole cause. It's just part of the involvement. And it won't be seen as effort if you recognize it for what it is. It'll just be what happens. Right? You won't have to push yourself. You don't, I'll guarantee that a whole lot of the research that you did, you weren't saying, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. You were caught by curiosity. You were caught by interest, and that was carrying you along in that research. Am I right?
That is true. I mean, there's intensity and like life or death emergency feeling to a lot of my life, but there's definitely interest and curiosity as well. In other words, a lot of people feel life or death, but they don't go and research stuff. In other words,
Yeah,
so it is interesting to me as well. I want to know. It's like if there's anything to be
yeah,
known about this illness, I want to know. If there's something to know about this musical thing, I want to do it. I'm a little bit
yeah.
losing that as I get older because I'm like, who has the energy for this kind of thing? But so that worries me. But yeah.
Well, things will change as you get older, that's for sure. But will you lose things? No, they'll just shift around. Yeah,
It just worries me because I feel like if I needed so much effort to put into everything that created anything, it just seems life is exhausting to me because anything meaningful
yeah,
or worthwhile, it takes so much effort that I can't even explain to you.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But what I'm
and if I
saying
lose
is,
that as, yeah.
it didn't take that effort. The effort was there, but that's not what drove it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you came to believe that the effort was the cause of whatever turned up. And I'm saying to you, it wasn't. It was just there. The effort was extraneous. It was on top of. It had nothing to do with the fundamental thing. It just appeared to be, but it gave you the belief that you were achieving as a result of effort. And that gives you the belief that you're okay. And that gives you the belief that there's somebody there that is okay. And I'm telling you, there's nobody there. You haven't discovered that yet, but there's nobody
Mm-hmm.
there. Right? There's no self running the show. There are just stories you've got about the self, and it's easy to see that your stories are what you're telling me. Right? But they're
Mm-hmm.
stories about Tammy. They're not Tammy. They have nothing to do with Tammy. They're just stories that Tammy believes about Tammy.
Uh-huh.
And until you recognize them as stories, you're going to be lost in them. Now, you can't do anything about it. I'm not saying to you that you've got to stop believing in them. That's just another story that gets added to the whole thing. So what I want you to get is to the point where you go, "Oh God, I give up. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go." Right? what I can imagine, partly from hearing what you said earlier on, is that you'll get to the point where you'll go, well, Vince is full of shit. Let's go and find somebody else who does know, right? And so you'll keep on doing what most spiritual seekers do, and they keep looking for something new in order to do it, right? And then when you eventually get it, you'll realize that it didn't really matter what it was you did. That's another story. But you know, oh God, Tammy, I love you, and I want you to wake up. I really do. I want with, oh, just feel the intensity of it. Everything. I just really want you to wake up. I really want you to get what I'm saying, and that's just me. Uh, you will or you won't.
What should I do? Should I slap myself silly with a baseball bat? I mean, what do I do, Vince? I'll do anything. You just say it, I'll do it.
maybe, maybe I'll come there and wield the bat for you. No, I mean I am wielding the bat here from Australia to you, but yeah. No, what you should do is exactly what you're doing, because you can't do anything else, but add to that an awareness of how things actually happen. Right? So add the curiosity, add the investigation to how things. So take anything that you're doing with absolute intensity, like any of the research that you're doing, any of the learning that you're doing, take any of that and look at it really, really closely, and you'll see that the effort that you put in, right, isn't what actually produces the result. That's just part of what's there. What is there is your interest in it. What is there is your fantasy about getting there, the end result. What is there is all of the available resources that you've got for it. All of those things play a part. Every single bit plays a part. And you can even go as far as to say the effort plays a part, but don't give the effort 100% credibility for the end result. It doesn't deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
So your frustration is a valuable thing that's turned up, right? To be frustrated about it. What do I do? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's a really valuable place. So get into what does the body feel when you're experiencing that? Where do you experience that frustration, that that tightness, that contraction, that whatever you describe it as, that comes from the frustration of not knowing. I can't get it. I've put so much effort into it and it hasn't worked. What am I going to do? I can't put any more effort into it. I feel like I've given it 100%. All this stuff with Vince, I all my effort hasn't worked, has it? Has it? You've put a lot of effort into this stuff. It hasn't got you there, has it?
I guess I've been thinking about it, and I feel like, well, there's three things. One is there's some reduction in hypervigilance, um, and fear. There's definitely a little bit something different there.
All right. Would you want to call
Um,
that progress, or would that be going too far?
no, that wouldn't be going too far. That's really important. Like I was coming into my apartment the other day and locking the door, and I was thinking how it was, months ago, and it was different feeling, different feeling. Um, I'm able sometimes to close my eyes outside for a few seconds or a minute. And yes, I'm vigilant, but I'm still able to do. In other words, there's tiny
Yeah,
things. the levels of anxiety are slightly different. And then the other thing is that about our work, I guess I keep coming back and asking for homework because I feel I'm never doing enough. I don't feel like I've given it. I'm like, I should be doing more, and then maybe it'll happen. Like maybe I'm not disciplined enough or doing enough. And then the last thing that's giving me frustration more is yeah, in all the life directions, I can make the same lists over and over. I need to fix this. I need to fix that. Should I get a coach? Should I get this? In other words, all the same things is just a list and not knowing how to start and just my same life stuff and frustration that I don't know how to move forward or that I spend so much time wasted, indecision and confusion. So those are the three things that I think about that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what occurs to me here is that the value of homework might be different to what you thought, and that maybe the value of homework is to keep you busy while this stuff happens. So it occurs to me, and I hesitate to do this, but anyway, you tell me what you think about it. What if I said, okay, for homework, go to my website and work through it from the first page to the last page. Have you even seen it before?
No.
Right. So you're going to find it talking about a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about, but the structure of it might be valuable to you. So I'd say do that for homework. Go to the website and start at the first page and work your way through it, right? In a relaxed way. Don't force yourself. You don't have to rush to the end of it or anything, right? And then as you're doing that, if you find yourself responding with a query or disbelief or anything like that, write it down and bring it here to the meetings, and we can discuss it. We investigate it a bit better. But that will keep you busy for a little while. There's, I don't know how many pages. There's 150 pages or something there. But just take it
I guess
slow.
just people on the calls sometimes mention stuff, and I've never people talk about getting guided at Liberation Unleashed. People talk about Angelo stuff. I don't know what stuff, but there's also a book, and people talk about Fetters and this Todd and Pernilli, and in other words, there's all these things and systems that people seem to be involved in, and I don't really feel like doing them, but maybe I should, or daily meditation or something. So I'm just wondering if I need more structure to it, or I don't know. I don't really want to. I'm just hoping that it'll just poof, take hold. But
Yeah, no, look, I would say that's just what I mentioned earlier. You can just say, well, maybe they've got what this hasn't got, and we'll go there and do that. But it'll be the same thing over and over again. And they're all good. There's nothing. Angelo is good. Todd and Panilla are great with their videos and so on. But again, unless a fundamental belief in you changes as a result of something that's said or some of the conditions that they bring to it, it won't happen. And so it's just, yeah. I mean, I'm no better
you don't
than
think I
them.
need some?
Don't say it. I'm not meaning to say, I'm the one or anything like that. What I'm saying is that it doesn't matter who you're with. That the same potential is there for anybody. But just swapping from
It's
one
not
to
so
the
much
other
about
isn't going to
people.
do it. Yeah.
It's not so much people. It's about, do I need to have like some disciplined practice or something, or I don't know. I haven't felt it. Like people have mentioned some things. I've started meditating or reading some things, but I just haven't stuck with anything. It doesn't seem to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And one could presume we could develop a story from that that there is an expression of reluctance to change in that. That you're not doing those things because you don't want to change. No, I don't mean that at a conscious level or anything like that, and I'm certainly not
Mm.
putting a value judgment on it. But I'm just saying that, you know, you say on one hand that you've got everything by a lot of effort, and yet that's a direction that you're not prepared to put the effort into. And that's fine. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it does mean that you've got a bit of a contradiction going there about you're prepared to put everything into this or that to get results, but you're not with this stuff. But you are in a way.
It's
You are. So
interesting.
so I don't see it as wrong. I'm just saying that that's a possibility that might be worth looking at. You know? Now, and I would say this at a philosophical level, right? There is always gain in what we do, whether it's an actual gain or whether it's just a perceived gain. Whether or not we're doing it because we're getting satisfaction or whether we're just avoiding dissatisfaction, but there's always some kind of gain in wherever we are, whatever we're doing. So that for you to be the way you are, at a philosophical level, I can say there's definitely a gain in you being the way you are. And that gain is going to be, without doubt, chapter 7 in the story of Tammy. It's going to be the way you see yourself. It's part of that. And that you see
So now we
yourself.
think that
Sorry?
I see myself. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the way you see yourself. And the way you see yourself, I could go even further, is going to be that this is still looking for approval from somebody from when you were a child. That you would get approval if you were a certain way, and that's why you are this way. That's very vague, and I'm not meaning to put much emphasis on it, but just that that's something that could be the case. Very likely is the case.
So it's some psychological conditioning that's keeping me stuck and not wanting to change.
Yeah, and that you got some relief from it by being a bulldog with whatever you got into. You got some relief from it by learning Spanish, by learning music, by getting into the health stuff, etc. Every one of these things, and that your life has probably been one of these after another, forever and ever, right? And that there is some self-esteem. It'd be a shitty way to put it, but a bit of a confrontive way to put it. You got out of being this way.
Yeah, you mentioned something last time about that I'm not loving myself. I'm just trying to approve of myself.
Yes.
So what do I do?
you, you recognise why I'm laughing.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Yeah. Look, I mean, I get it. I know, I'm not. I
So
I
if
do
someone's
get
stuck in
that.
this, yeah.
Yeah, you got to do something. That's the way it is. You got to do something until you recognise that you're doing is not doing but happening. And so yeah.
No,
So
but
what
now
you
you're
do,
saying that it's that I'm stuck psychologically or conditionally. So what do I need to do
but you're not
something
you're not
to
you're not stuck 100%. I mean, you're not stuck.
Mhm.
I mean, if you were really stuck, you'd get so offended at me saying that you'd never talk to me again. Right? But you're not
I'm
doing
not
that.
offended
So
at all. No.
no, you're not stuck at all in that way. But what we have is a barrier to climb over. That's all.
Hmm.
And so recognizing that barrier, what it is, and so on. And then, in fact, with recognizing it, you don't have to climb over it, it dissolves. But that recognition is what we're after. So, just in order to satisfy the doing part of you, do go to the website and start working your way through it and make notes of things you disagree with or things that you find confronting or anything like that. And if they resonate with you, well, you don't need to write anything down or say anything unless it resonates with you in such a way that it becomes an epiphany. Then I'd love to hear it.
Hmm. I will say that part of the reason that like when I went into stuff like reading something or listening to something or trying something, it usually just takes me into the head and gets me frustrated. But I it's interesting what you're saying today about like if I'm such a persistent and determined person and yet I'm not able to like fight my way through this stuff, then maybe there's a different block holding me back. Bye, Leonard. Um, then maybe there is something holding me back. And I felt that a little bit at times. I'm like, on the one hand, I want to get this stuff. On the other hand, there's something there that doesn't feel ready to open. But I don't know, like, how can I
Yeah,
discover what that is? And then so it can
yeah,
dissolve.
yeah. Well, you're doing it. You are doing it because you're here, because you keep
Yeah.
coming back. Yeah, it is happening, and those tiny little movements that we've seen are very significant in that they show that change can happen. But if I asked you, how did it come about, you probably couldn't say because they're very subtle. They're very complex and subtle changes, and it's not obvious how they came about. How did you find yourself not being quite hyper vigilant in that situation? How did that occur? You know, you can make up a
To me, it's
story about
obvious,
it.
but yeah, I do have stories.
Yeah. So those stories, if I say those, that what actually happened was that there was a change in beliefs. Do those stories match with that?
That wasn't my story, um, but maybe that's part of it.
Hmm.
Um,
So what's
my
interesting
story
about,
is that it's yeah. Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
go on. No, I'm going to say what's interesting about your story is it'll be about control. That's the way you will see it. But go on, tell me your story.
No, my story is that it's relational, that healing happens through therapeutic relationship and through care and through community. And so that's my story about co-regulation, um, survival, polyvagal stuff. I mean, that's how I see it. In other words, meeting with
Okay.
you and other kind people and the attention, the care, the talking, changes things. That's how I see we heal it through relationship.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. So can we just amplify that those external conditions brought about an internal change?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And when we get that internal change happens as a result of the way we see things, we can expand that into everything. But that's too big a step, maybe. But at least can you get the philosophy of it?
Yes, but I guess maybe it's a boy and girl thing. In other words, maybe like you're looking at it as like beliefs in like a cold, like a detached way, like it's beliefs. To me, everything is relational.
Mm.
I don't know. There's not something I think about that much, but it's coming out now. It's interesting. But yeah, to me, it's all about relationship. I mean, the people that I health coached, um, incredible success, and it's only through relationship or me teaching someone piano. Anyone could just sit on the piano and learn, but they don't. It all
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
because of the care and the relationship. So that's how I see the world. Like,
Great, great, excellent, excellent. Now, just go
yeah.
one step further. Your relationship with yourself. That's the one that's missing. Your relationship with other
Mm,
people, it's really obvious, isn't it? But your relationship
mm,
with yourself, yeah. And I would go even further if we get down to a much more subtle level, and that is that we have our relationship to what appears. right? Our relationship to the stories that turn up, our relationship to the physical experience that happens. And those relationships are really where the nitty gritty, where the rubber hits the road, is in those relationships. Right? Because the relationships with other people, they're very important and they're very big, but it's how that affects your relationship with yourself that we're really talking about here. That's really important.
Interesting. I think, I mean, you've mentioned before that a lot of my stuff is probably how I was trained and conditioned by my, early relationships. And I think that's true. And I think a lot of the way I see myself and the world is affected by that. And I don't think I can heal that in isolation. In other words, I think that needs to, yeah. In other words, I don't know if I can't or I don't want to.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. That you couldn't do that in isolation for sure. Right? I mean, a gross way to put it is that we lie to ourselves too easily to be able to do it in isolation. So that's where having a mentor or having someone that you can discuss this stuff with becomes very, very important. It's a mirror, a reflection back at you, especially of the things that you don't want to believe about yourself. So those things, so I agree, relationships are absolutely important.
Yeah, and maybe there's something there about like still not having received a kind of care or attention or validation or self-trust from my early relationships, and so I still need help. Maybe that's why I need all these mentors to
Yep,
help
yep.
all these mentors. I mean, just like the health coach or whatever. Maybe that's why I can't, but maybe not. Maybe people need help in certain ways. I don't know. But
Yeah. Well, here's another one that comes out of that one that I think is really important and valuable for you to consider, and that is that the way you are now, all that effort and determination, etc., that's what got rewarded when you were young. And that's
hmm
that's your seeking for approval is in that area.
hmm
And it used to be approval by somebody, probably a parent, but now it's approval from yourself.
mm.
And I'm wanting to tell you, but you can't accept it, is that, Tammy, you're okay. You're absolutely okay with or without that stuff. Doesn't matter. You are fundamentally okay. In fact, you're better than okay. I'm looking at a word on my screen that spells Tammy, but I'm feeling a heartbeat behind that.
Yeah. I guess I just feel so far from okay. But
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
feels like I'll need a lot of help to get to okay, and I don't know if I'll ever be
Mm.
able to be just a person who could stand on their own 2 feet, but
Uh, you do that so well already in a lot of ways. Yeah, yeah.
so we're saying I need to calm down, but I don't know how to calm down. And that's just
Yeah. What if I said
and
you don't need to do anything? Whatever is
mhm,
happening is your opening into what we're talking about. Whatever is happening. So there's no wrong. There's no wrong. So all the effort, all the intention, all of the control, if that's what's operating at the moment, that's fine. That's your opportunity to recognize that there's stuff happening underneath all of that. So it's kind of a gross way to look at it at the moment, but to see that all of that is an overlay on top of what's actually happening. And what's actually happening is happening all by itself. I mean, that's not right, but that's a good way to put it for this purpose. It's all just happening. And then on top of all of that is you rowing as fast as you can. But you don't realize it, but if you stop rowing, the current will still take you where you're going to go. And you don't know that. You think you're only going to get there because you're paddling as hard as you can. But you're actually paddling downstream. That's a a big use of metaphors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what does that look like? Do I stop looking to, in other words, I'm like caught. Do I try and find a coach, or do I try and find someone to help me figure out my life, or do I just try and relax more and just observe? Like, what do I do?
I don't see any value in you running around trying different coaches. Um, what I see value for you in is looking at what's underneath that. Always looking at what's underneath that. I think you're in the right place, and I think persistence with that is going to pay off if you keep it. But if you feel inclined to go find a coach to do something, then go and do it, and then come back here if that doesn't work or whatever. I don't mind. I'll be sad to see you
I
go
mean,
though.
like, no, I'm not. I'm talking about like a life coach to help me with my life stuff. You
Uh,
thought I meant a coach for like enlightenment?
yeah, no, I thought that's what you were talking about. Yeah,
Oh, no. I'm talking about getting my life stuff in order, like just like I needed a health coach. You know what I mean? Like to help me figure out my life confusion.
yeah. Well, I don't see that as separate from what we're doing here. Um, so what are you confused about in your life? What to
Just
do?
everything, where to put my effort. Like, should I, in
Right.
terms of work, in terms of friends, in terms of just getting my life in order and organized and
I would
just
say your
not spending.
life is over ordered now. You've got too much order in your life. But it seems chaotic. Chaotic. I get that. I get that you have a lot of things going, and they all seem to be bumping into each other. Uh, um, now, what I'm wanting you to get is that you will do whatever you will do. Right? You have no doubt. You have a calendar that says, now I'm going to give a music lesson. Now I'm going to do some health coaching. Now I'm going to go to the doctor, or now I'm going to catch the bus, or whatever it is you're going to do. That's already organized. You don't need any extra with that stuff, right? It's all about the feeling about that stuff that we're talking about, and the feeling that it's chaotic, the feeling that it's not organized. That's really the big
Mhm.
issue here. I mean, am I right in saying that you've got a calendar that helps you to decide what to go do and where to go, when to go, and all that?
Yes, but a lot of stuff has dropped off, and I have a lot of free time, which I spend being indecisive about how to spend my time.
Right. Okay. So spend that free time reading the website to start with,
Hmm.
and come back here with notes about stuff that you either don't get, or you feel, especially stuff that you feel is wrong. That's important. Um,
Hmm.
and any epiphanies that you have as you read it. but just do that, and maybe you can help me rewrite the whole thing. It's maybe it could use a lot of improvement.
All right. Where's the
There you go.
website? The Oneness, like where we find the links
Yeah,
to the meetings?
that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
oneness.info. So that's the first page where those links are. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah. And I mean, I want to say this, but I don't need to say it. It's kind of stupid to say it, but don't despair. You're doing fine.
Okay. Thanks, Vince. That helps.
Yeah. I love you, Tammy. I really do. I'm not just saying that. I just feel my heart just really connects with you.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Vince. I truly appreciate you.
All right. Thank
Talk
you, Tammy.
soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Talk soon. Yep.